get a little bit frightened. And Dplus fans were probably frightened after that last one. You can see it is a little bit mussed up, but otherwise it is somewhat under control. And let's see whether it is going to work out here as we get into the draft for game number 3. Fearless has banned away a whole bunch of champions, and that might allow for some more interesting things on the Rift this time around.
Certainly might.
Blue side and first pick here at
Yes.
Dplus as well.
Varus going to be taken away, of course. Orianna's gone, right? That's one of the big ones. We have the Rumble gone. The Blind Gnar is gone.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that you can ban
It's
in this game.
for me, like, I think when we look at the picks coming through, obviously the Cassiopeia has been banned twice by VicLa. This time they're on red side, so they're going to ban it again. That makes sense. Or on second pick, which is also red side. I'm thinking about picks like K'Sante. I think K'Sante really strong on this meta when there aren't great answers. I'm thinking about picks like Jayce, which I'm hoping we're not going to see. But in terms of the mid pool, things like Taliyah we often see when the draft gets this thinned out, like Taliyah Vi could be an option. There's no Ahri anymore, of course.
I wouldn't even mind a Vi first pick.
Me too. I mean, it's Lucid after all.
Yeah,
maybe they'll ban it.
There is that awkward thing, though. The Ashe was played alongside the Lulu, so it means that things like Aphelios and Yunara are not necessarily as possible, just because Lulu does tend to enable a lot of those lanes.
No Milio either.
Yep. The Wukong is going to be taken away here. You can go old school, right? Like grab a Thresh or something like that.
Zeri
Oh, true.
Okay, it's just going to be Viktor first pick. ShowMaker throwing the gauntlet down, saying he wants one of his most comfortable picks right now this season.
And has looked very good on it.
He hasn't won yet, I don't believe, but has had some great laning phases. This was the concerning pick for me.
Yeah.
Like, she was like, oh man, we already have a front to back coming together here. I'm just going to pick K'Sante.
Ooh, Taliyah Pantheon. Pick it into CV Max? Oh, that'd be kind of cute.
CV Max was like, oh my god, we lost the draft.
It's doomed. They have their bottom lane already set. Oh god. That's a little bit of a blast from the past. I think Rather was actually still with Griffin at that time as well.
It's crazy that it's been 8 weeks of play and how highly prioritized Pantheon was, and how at the end he's sub 50% win rate here, and his priority has dropped massively. As a lot of thought going into this
it is Pantheon Taliyah, man.
It seemed fairly obvious. I think they were maybe considering some of VicLa's other picks he could have gone for here, like the Azir. The Akali is banned away. Skarner, I like the Vi more, especially into this Pantheon composition.
Yeah, I would agree. Interested in what she was going to go for, or whether they take a priority support or something like that.
It's super awkward here because you have to blind. Siwoo has had a really bad time on the Jayce, by the way. It is his most played. He is 3-6.
Oh, God.
Across the year here in 2026 on the pick. So I hope that is not what he's looking for here. Eyes on Smash is being a little bit vocal. K'Sante, this is what I want. Like, I think you're running this draft, you have like an insane front line. Let the Viktor do the damage. No!
Oh, no! No.
He can't hear us. We have to scream louder. No!
That first one was good. Oh, God. Well, the Jayce looks to be the lock-in here.
I have a feeling, like, based on his face there, he didn't look like he really wanted to play it either.
And Cleo looks pretty happy about it.
Yeah, I have a feeling we know what he's going to play.
Well, he can play a whole bunch of things, but
Renekton is available as well.
Up.
Yorick is the easy answer here.
Wow.
Especially with the Taliyah. Like, you don't have to play K'Sante here because you've got side lane control plus a wall that's going to send you across the map. You got Pantheon.
Yeah, you got double global in a side lane.
Like this is, they set up such a giga angle here for BNK FEARX.
And the K'Sante would not have done the same thing. I'm a little bit baffled by why they decided to go for this. But still, let's see whether DK can let us know exactly what they have planned. Some bottom lane bans come on through now on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking for scaling picks, right, in terms of AD carries, because a lot of the tempo advantage picks are gone. Like Caitlyn, Lucian, and the Ashe are all removed. Ezreal has strong laning phase as well as also gone. So picks like Corki, strong in this list. Yunara, possibility, but doesn't have the strong pairing. And then the Zeri, which was struggling to come out of my mouth for some reason, also high value here.
I'm interested. I actually feel like maybe there's like a Zaya Rakan angle.
There also could be like a weird Ziggs angle or something like that, depending on the matchup.
Mel angle?
Yeah, Mel, also a possibility. So with Nico and Nami gone, both teams are kind of indirectly saying also Corky's probably not going to be a thing here. Kalista actually works really well with Dplus.
Oh, yeah.
I like Kalista. Now, you're playing Kalista into Taliyah, which can always be frustrating, but I do think that with the front line they have with the Skarner and the follow-up Viktor scaling, it works really well. Sivir is also now removed.
I think a Renata ban would actually be a good idea. Kellin is such a good Renata player. We are so deep into Fearless with so many supports banned away that it could have been an angle for him. And it does open the doors for you to play a little bit more of these engaged supports towards the bottom side that DK kind of want. I mean, I know Skarner is somewhat engaged, but instead they ban away the engaged support themselves.
Nautilus Misfortune was a little bit of a scary possibility that I think that they didn't want to deal with, because there's also the Ghoulie wall and the Weaver's wall. It's actually quite powerful.
A lot of walls.
Yes. No Cataclysm.
No, that wall not there. Anivia hasn't been played yet. Could be support.
I don't think so. Ooh, Alistar for Kellin. Always a controversial one, but he's turned it around.
All right.
It's not a good lane pick into a blind matchup. They're going to find out right now.
No real Silas angle, as the solo lanes have already been locked in by Dplus, so doesn't need to worry about that one. But still, I don't know whether this is representing we're going to win lane, but it certainly looks good for a team fight.
I really think you can Kalista Renata here as Dplus if you feel confident you can outplay in team fights. Not an easy team fight composition to play, but if you think you have the angle, Poppy. It also could be Skarner support, technically speaking. Probably not, but
Poppy also messes with the Alistar quite a lot.
Yeah.
I do like it, and is very valuable as you get later into this game. They have a lot of they have a lot of poke, as well as a lot of keep away, right? The gravity well, as well as all of the poke that they have. And this is going to play alongside it as Smash with the Jhin lock-in before seeing the AD carry. I mean, he is pretty strong champion in his own right.
Is fairly weak here for BNK FEARX. There's no strong, robust tank, except when Alistar's ult is running, really. Smolder! Okay, this was an unspoken champion here in the LCK. We were like, nah, no one's playing that. Honestly, I think given the draft year, Dplus, Smolder is very tricky. I much prefer some of these other picks he's rotating. Well, it looks like his face says he's playing Smolder.
Well, he's having a bit of a giggle about it, whatever he's doing. Has a Misfortune just to try and battle in lane, and that will be the choice. And I think, Misfortune Alistar versus Jhin Poppy is not necessarily as one-sided as I was expecting after only seeing the Alistar locked in.
I think both of these drafts have serious weaknesses. Like the Jayce Skarner top side does not spark joy. Double global here for BNK feels really good, but it's Misfortune with somewhat shaky setup. Like there are single target ways you can set up. The Ghoulie wall is there to set that up. We talked about earlier. The Alistar pick felt like it was like, okay, well, I'm just going to see what I can get. And then the response was okay, well, instead of punishing the Alistar, we'll have a Poppy that's not punished because it's Alistar. We'll get the Jhin, and then the MF comes through for a stronger laning phase, but it doesn't have great synergy in its 2v2 setup. So this is a little bit of unexplored territory and how these two comps are going to collide. I think a lot of it's going to come down to the top side of the map this time around, weirdly enough. I think with whether the Jayce can come out of the laning phase stable and strong enough to actually be relevant is going to be a big part of this. If not, I feel like side lane Yorick that's ahead, plus double global, it makes this such an easy game for BNK to play out. I think the 80 carries, because they're both a little bit utility here, matter much less.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm actually very, very scared about the Taliyah Pantheon situation here. The fact that it makes the macro games so much easier to play is very important for a team like BNK FEARX, who haven't necessarily got that one nailed just yet. Let's get into the rift. All right. After the deafening cries of the fans on both sides, we do have Lucid taking a lot of damage here from Raptor. He's just going to persuade him to leave, and that is going to be acquiesced for now. Clear was rotating down, but it looks like we're not going to have too much action as Lucid just back in there once again.
Yorick.
Oh, that ward is actually so smart. As Lucid does know exactly where Raptor is, but this is still just going to be vertical jungling.
Yes. So Raptor for Raptor.
All right.
And Raptor for Lucid on the other side.
Well, Raptor is actually going to turn this into a little bit of a return towards his side of the jungle.
Skarner took a little bit of damage, so I think Lucid backing here is actually quite clever.
Yeah.
I think it's going to throw Raptor off.
Full information now over to both sides as to where these junglers are. So it's a trade of Raptors, and otherwise not too much more is going to go on, as Raptor was just poking around.
He's like, where are you? Where is he?
Yeah.
Now I think he realizes, okay, you might think he's crossed back over the river, but in reality he's just gone home and is now starting up the Krugs. And then we'll be able to pass towards the top side of his own jungle, and then maybe be able to help out the Jayce a little bit there on the top side. Pretty good start here for Lucid. I like how he played that.
Yeah, not too bad. As Dancing Grenade going to be playing around here towards this bottom side. Kind of fun to have melee supports back again, as Korea's steadfast presence is going to be pretty powerful in this game for dealing with the Pantheon and the Alistar, but also the ulti for the disengage going to be really important when that guy decides to turn up from the sky. As Heroic Charge not going to quite find the angle, and neither does the Deadly Flourish as the headbutt for the mini stun into the wall. And Smash just going to take a cannon, and it is A-OK.
Yeah,
First pick for both of these bottom laners.
Poppy's just got so many resistances that, you know, looks like, oh man, Career, he's caught, but it's just a good trade. Nothing really too threatening here. I agree with your sentiment that it has been a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to say boring. Like on Meta's past, we'd be like, oh my god, a range support, that's so fun. Now we're on the other side of the coin where we're ready to see Leona, please, where's Leo? Where's first pick, Leona?
Yeah, exactly.
More engage, I need it. As the jungle role has really been the one that shores a lot of that up these days.
Gully Wall going to trap in Siwoo for the moment, but it isn't going to keep him there for very long.
The ultimate of the Poppy, like you said, can be great into the globals that are coming in, but also great into MF in general. As you are able to predict when she's going to ult, you can just instantly stop that. They're also not liking this.
They're taking a lot of damage, as the ghouls 2 gold each here. Siwoo actually already making like 20 gold off that.
Yeah, he didn't high roll on that gacha pack.
No.
Got a common.
Yeah. Raptor, once again, it looks like the Raptor trade is coming on through, as they have kept these completely warded on both sides. VicLa moves up, but a little bit late in order to catch this Skarner, who is able to just travel through walls and stuff like that, so he gets out with nothing too much to worry about.
Yeah, he gets away with it twice.
Yeah.
And this laning phase has been pretty quiet. Nothing too crazy, nothing to write home about. We saw Kellin, you know, mini stun a Poppy and be like, all right, well, I got the advantage. It has resulted in about a wave the advantage here for Taeyun. Scaling favors the Viktor comp here, in my opinion. Obviously, there's the non-damage scaling factor of the side laning Yorick, which can also do damage in team fights, as we've seen, but that's not the primary function. As speaking of Yorick,
yeah, he's going in. Raptor is looking for the angle here as the flash out from Siwoo. Let's see whether it's going to be enough, and it is, as he is going to survive.
He was on the edge of flashing out of there. He barely got out, but he does, and it looks really impressive. But ultimately, it's a flash-for-flash trade here.
Yep, and it's a jungle flash for a top lane flash, so possible return angle.
Yeah, BNK FEARX are definitely going to be making another pass.
Yeah, teleport back from Siwoo should be available here, though, but it's a turtle port, so it's going to take a little bit of time as he does teleport his way back in. Tear in hand, as well as a cheeky little longsword. And so Clear is going to be feeling a little bit more battle ready as he makes it back to the lane as well.
And with a slow early game like this, it is good news that even on Ox's day off, he's paying attention, and we don't have Chemtech Soul.
Hey, there you go.
And so, you know, we're getting the Chemtech out of the way a little early this time. I'm feeling maybe a little Hextech Soul action again.
Ooh, another one of those. Could get a little bit fiery in here with some Infernal. Maybe
Look,
it feels like a Mountain Soul game, though.
It does feel like a Mountain Soul game, which is pretty fun with Viktor and Skarner.
We'll have some very, very tanky champions on the Rift. Let's hope
great.
that everyone can get, like, we get the double soul points with the most mountains secured by everyone.
Oh, that would be great.
That's the dream. Well, Headbutt Pulverize does come in from Kellin. These Deadly Flourishes do need to land. Smash has been struggling a little bit in the laning phase with a few of these skills.
Such a funny exchange between the AD carries where both supports are headbutting. Kellin is the real headbutt, and Career has the budget headbutt.
Yeah.
And it just ends up being that Taeyun wins the exchange again because he's early game misfortune. He doesn't have to reload. He's got really strong base damage and is going to win out again. So this laning phase going pretty well. And my dream is, I mean, for this game, because I have a lot of personal dreams I'm not going to air out here right now because it'll take way too long.
I mean, we do have time if you want to go through some of them.
One day, hopefully, a full set of all the original Metal Gear and Metal Gear Solid games. So my dream is that we get Chemtech into Cloud. So no matter what, Chemtech into...
I thought you were going to say, I become a character in a Fire Emblem game. I thought you were going to say that.
No, that's not realistic, Atlus. Also very dangerous because most
dream
people
big, Wolf!
Most people play with permadeath, Atlus. It's not smart.
Well, hopefully that doesn't actually affect you outside of the game.
I might end up being one of the characters with low base stats and
oh no!
I die permadeath and the player doesn't even restart the chapter.
Oh no!
I'm only used to just talk to the character and recruit the other character. And then subsequently, I just hold 5 iron swords and otherwise trash items in the supply cart. I don't want that to happen. That's dangerous. High risk. I'd rather be in Animal Crossing or something.
Yeah, we can put you in a game where it's actually going to be fine. I'm going to be in Pokopia. I prefer that. As okay, what was your dream?
Okay, so I was hoping it was going to be. I was hoping it was going to be Ocean second. So we can get a great soul no matter what. Instead, it's Hextech, which we've already had, so that's fine. Maybe Mountain Soul just makes the most sense.
It's what it feels like to me. As the gold extraordinarily even. VicLa taking some death ray damage though. That's not exactly looking fantastic. As ShowMaker just throwing some Qs around. Grubs have spawned. And Raptor is thinking about heading on over there. Does get spotted out by this controller, but that should be taken down. Although they don't have anyone at range. And so Career is able to move over there. They didn't know where the Skarner was, and they're not going to risk it.
Smash and Taeyun left by the wayside, but Smash is Jhin, so it can make an impact semi-globally as he rotates over, so that's something to be respected. Of course, Taeyun can very easily stop him, so there's a game of cat and mouse with that. As Lucid will get this first grub smiteless, so should be able to get 2 of the 3. As here comes Pantheon.
Yep, man drop towards the top side of the map as now Siwoo could be in a lot of trouble. It is going to be Lucid sticking on to that grub camp.
Career is looking for a weird angle on the bottom side, by the way, trying to punish.
A bit of something else going on, but First Blood goes over to the Yorick as Taeyun away from his turret now. That should mean that Career can come on over there to help lock down the kill. So immediately afterwards, it is Career locking down a kill to even out the scales.
Probably
but still,
not.
Yorick getting ahead. I'm going to say that that's in the column.
I definitely would prefer to be the side of BNK FEARX on this one, especially because the Poppy stole the kill, but it's still a big win. As Siwoo here, I guess he's expecting that Raptor's going to try to contest grubs with the movement that we have of the Alistar over. And instead, he's just like, no, I'm going to kill you and get my Yorick ahead. You guys can have the grubs. And so that was definitely not in his calculations. Now, this looks like it's a premeditated, pre-planned, something that they've been doing in scrims. Like this setup here with Smash, where he calls for the TP behind with the Poppy, almost just feels like they planned this. They've done this before, as he's like, going to get the flash, I'm going to ult. And then no matter what, he goes to either wall. Career's going to set something up, which is just a really cool play here. I think making light of a bad situation really nicely. They're using the unsealed spellbook.
Beautifully done. Smash going to have that cannon denied. Oh, that cast minion doesn't actually turn around, so Smash is going to pick this one up with a dancing grenade. Very, very good stuff for the Jhin. As now VicLa could be in a little bit of trouble. There's the Impale, gets the flash. VicLa has to get out of here. In the meantime, Siwoo is having to deal with this and does have to flash.
His face, he's got that face of like, I told you, Steven Max, I didn't want to do this. You know, I knew that this was going to be a bad time. This is my worst champion this season. I don't want to have a bad time into a Yorick. There's a Pantheon on the other side. His career's going in.
Yeah, flash, heroic charge. He gets the ulti onto Taeyun as well. Smash will come on over. Lucid doesn't have the ulti back up and available just yet, as the Unbreakable Will is there. Bullet time from over the wall. as now Kellin does get fourth shotted by Smash, but VicLa makes his way in. The barrier eats a fair bit of the damage, but Smash is still going low, but VicLa goes down, and Raptor wants to try and pick up the kill onto the Jhin. He will, but it may be a sacrifice a little bit too much here for BNK FEARX, as this fight in the river is all DK.
Very messy one, but ultimately Dplus had the tempo advantage the whole way through. And it looks like now they've got the tempo vibes as well with that camera shot there of Career post-fight.
Oh, yeah.
Picks up the locket, and the harness coming through here as well for Lucid. A lot of these very cost-efficient support items coming in big right now. But the fight was really split up and broken up there for the side of BNK. They had the Alistar ult by so much time. Kellin was able to flash out, but then committing further in was a bit of a problem. This is still a problem here.
Yeah.
Prefer not to look at it, but maybe some help. Maybe some help.
Yeah, the Skarner going to drive on in here as Clear just wanders away.
Lucid's, his impale was up in like 1 second, and it would have probably gotten Clear's flash, but he's not able to seize that opportunity.
Not quite. Still, I mean, Siwoo, if he's ever left alone, he will still be able to do massive amounts of damage to structures. They have 3 grubs. That is still going to be a win condition here. The problem is, I think the Yorick could certainly become a big issue later on in the game.
He's like, I am grubs.
Yeah.
Except they're ghouls.
Oh, pulverize onto both of the bottom laners here from Kellin. That's looking pretty good as Korea moves Taeyun away. Dancing Grenade comes in, but in comes Raptor as well, and no flash for Smash means that he is likely to go down. Pulverize is good. The barrier almost works, but it's not going to be enough there, as Lucid realizes that coming down here is not going to be a good idea.
It's the gold lead says that Dplus is ahead.
Yeah.
The misfortune is behind, but the map and the play that we're seeing says BNK are very confidently controlling the pace of this game, and I'm starting to get more and more worried here for Dplus after what was a brilliant team fight in the bottom side of the map earlier. They're still just not able to link the pieces together. They're getting outpaced by this global comp. Their Jayce is having some serious problems. His Career is going to very aggressively try to delay it back here as they are doing that dragon.
Yep, throws the buckler over. And it is going to be Lucid taking this dragon down. Interrupting the back on Taeyun is actually going to help guarantee that. They will get double dragon.
The only thing that's going well for Dplus, like on its own naturally, is ShowMaker has built up a pretty significant lead without really any help. As this is Career going in for this play onto Kellin, right? This is going to be a long replay, so forgive us if we jump out of it, but Kellin has flash, and he buys so much space here with his ultimate. The Misfortune ultimate isn't very high value, though, and Raptor's still trying to send it with VicLa's return. But this barrier, as you mentioned in the play-by-play, buys a ton of space, and then this is not the kind of scrap you want to have. Like, this is unfortunately way too much damage here in this composition. The Alistar had already used all of his stuff, so I think maybe just letting one die and running away would have been smarter, but going back to this play here, Kellin's Alistar. He giveth, he taketh away. And this time he's taking away from Dplus, as we do see Raptor comes over here. Kellin gets his cooldowns back, gets the next knock up here. Smash tries to barrier, but this time the value is much less.
You're right, Wolf. Kellin's Alistar is the nightmare of Dplus Kia. Absolutely.
Oh, no! Oh!
Sometimes you have to do it. It's okay. BNK in a good position, right? They are down a little bit of gold. 1.2k is not a small margin at this stage of the game, but it's a Cloud Soul.
Okay.
And so Dplus can be walking real fast. And Lucid, as this wandering lawnmower, is going to really benefit from a lot of extra movement speed, not to mention the fact that you can press Impale and then sprint out of there. This is going to be a dangerous Dplus if they can continue stacking up these dragons. The issue is, it does feel like tempo vibes have been shifted around a bit, but have moved towards BNK FEARX despite where the gold is going.
It's just the way that their composition, BNK FEARX are moving around the map with these globals and also just setting up a lot of the plays. Obviously that play on the bottom side didn't work out. It was a good punish from Career crew, and it was a very close fight. A few, things go different there, and it's actually just a huge win for BNK FEARX, and they're now massively ahead. But they're still making the proactive plays, and that's the thing you got to do. That's what Raptor did in Game 2 as well. We're behind, but we're going to be proactive. We're going to find these angles. And that's why, for me, even though I feel like Dplus should be able to take this lead and further it, not ready to trust just yet.
Well, they are looking for a Rift Herald. Let's see whether they can gather that one, as Clear is coming down, but maybe a little bit too late. Career with his steadfast presence, is just going to be able to wander his way out of there. And Lucid also just over the wall. So highway robbery here for Dplus Kia, now with Shelly in hand. We'll see what they can use that for, as first turret still up and available for either team.
Yeah, it is a really scary prospect what happens in this game if... Okay, ShowMaker here does have a Skarner coming down. Let's see. Okay, he's just going to do Krugs. I thought maybe they were trying to set up a really big player. It is a scary prospect what Dplus's comp could do with a Skarner and a Poppy if they get that mid turret. As Pantheon, by the way, meanwhile...
Yeah, they're looking to teleport in as well. I mean, they really just want to kill Siwoo. He is put into the ghoulie wall. He flashes out of the way. I don't know whether that is going to be enough to keep him alive. VicLa tanks up the turret. The bullet time is there to make sure that Taeyun is going to stay alive, but the Rift Herald is going to mean that they will still get this siege if they want it. Korea comes on over, and now... Oh, where are we going? Lucid just going to take this one towards the bottom side to make sure that they can get themselves first turret. That's assuming he can get past the wall, and unfortunately,
they lost first
he
turret
cannot.
Also to the Yorick.
Yeah, he managed to take that one down.
I don't feel confident in anything Dplus are doing now, except this, maybe this one.
Yeah, Deadly Flourish does come in. Let's see where the smash is going to call the curtains. As
no
Pantheon was moving down, and yeah, Taeyun took a lot of damage. That's it.
There's no fault there whatsoever. ShowMaker gets the turret finally, as they're probably going to get an extra charge here as well. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall is not going to stop it. Just goes straight through. What is a wall?
You know, I thought before we did the series, you know, when we do the thing where before we pull the standings up and you and I do a little bit of stake setting and talk about what we're going to get into. The thing I really wanted to say, but I decided not to say, was that I thought this series was going to be very funny. Because that's kind of like, Deacon's always like, oh, these teams, the game is always epic. It always ends up being very silly in a lot of ways, very close, very scrappy, especially with the playstyle of the junglers that was showcased on the pre-show. Feels like, you know, in some ways Lucid's matured past his early aggression days, but it feels in some ways in this game that Raptor's aggression is kind of the right call.
Yeah.
And Lucid is just not able to make the same impact. I mean, look, they're both having a great game here. It's the smallest goal deficit on the Rift, in fact, in terms of the impact they've both made. But Dplus are kind of dropping the ball in a lot of ways with the lead that they have. I think their comp is easier to play when we get to the later parts of the game, but BNK just one or two more scraps that go their way, and then they can just play through sides even more heavily than they already are.
Yeah, this is the thing. This Yorick is just way too big here in this game, as ShowMaker looking to come on over and gank him. Does have his dash cannon there, and the Arcane Storm is going to come on down. Siwoo does need to be a very, very careful little Jayce as the flash over from ShowMaker, as Clear is going to die. So there it is, successful gank by the mid laner.
Can ShowMaker TP over to contest this dragon is the real question, as looks like with their 2 Drake lead, their double dragon right now, they might just consider giving this up entirely. They get actually the prio away. ShowMaker's backing. Maybe they actually do end up turning this into Soul Point. There's his TP right there behind the mid lane, and now look for the actual secure. They've got a lot of zoning here. VicLa's ult's coming up very soon, and Clear is going to take a little while before he can TP in. There's a thin window here for Dplus.
Taeyun now has his barrier on cooldown, as there's Kellin going in, looks for the angle, and they get the shove. They just take down ShowMaker. No flash from that last gank, and down he will go. And now BNK can take themselves this Drake without any contest.
Yeah, this is the thing about that last gang play. When you commit 2 people to kill and a flash to kill a Yorick, you're like, did we win on this one or did we lose on this one? Because the Yorick brings so many resources. This is why he's such a side lane threat. I did think, though, that with the setup that Dplus were able to get so quickly there, and with ShowMaker TPing in, that we were going to see BNK just drop it. And then ShowMaker just walks one step too far forward into all of this CC. Doesn't have the flash to get out of it. It's Kellin who sets it up again on this Alistar.
Yeah.
Look at ShowMaker. He's walking forward here with a Death Ray. And then just kind of, I mean, he's greeting for some extra damage here in the neutral. And Kellin is just like, what? Okay. And he picks him up there. Knows that ShowMaker doesn't have flash.
Yeah, the flash shove from VicLa was absolutely fantastic just to make sure that they locked him down, but ShowMaker should never have been standing there.
And the thing is, like, it's the small errors for Dplus, just the small ones. That might be why they lose this series, because they had such a great position in both of these games.
Oh, Dash Cannon does stun ShowMaker up as there are rocks on the ground. Gravity Field does come on through as Korea is rotating behind him. There's the ulti to try and get rid of Raptor, but it's going to miss. And the death rate comes on through. Very small wall there, but it's going to be Korea catching up to VicLa. Seismic Shove does nothing as Lucid shows up to finish off the play. It took a while, but they got him in the end.
They did. Korea misses the ult, but has the flash play follow-up there to secure the kill. So a small win here for Dplus. Puts them back in the gold lead just slightly. It's a very close game in the gold regard.
Yeah, Dplus are ahead, but Clear is ahead.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it.
And Siwoo didn't have to blind pick Jayce.
No, he did not. He did not. I have concerns with it, and maybe what I should have seen in Career's most played Jayce that at 3 and 6 was that he was definitely going to play it.
and he also, but he never gave up, Wolf. He kept playing it, even though he kept losing.
And this moment here, it looks like they're going to get away, and then Career says no. Flashes past Raptor and helps set up the kill. It goes over to Lucid, so it's a small win here on the Skarner. And ShowMaker's backing. They're not going to get the whole turret or anything like that. They only got one more plate. And here's the other thing that's happening on the other side of the map, right? Like we're talking about it, and we're not looking at it. But now we're looking at it and talking about it, and it's very relevant.
Yeah, it unfortunately can hurt you. As the Ghoulies are just likely to almost kill him. They don't quite manage to do so, as now ShowMaker moves on over another heroic charge in from Korea, who has parked himself in this top lane to just kill VicLa as many times as he can.
Now, eventually, if ShowMaker gets a lot of money here and we're trading turret gold between the Viktor and the Yorick, the Viktor's gold is going to be more relevant in 5v5 team fights because they do already have Double Dragon and they can look to set up for this next team fight here on either a Baron if they want to. I think we're a bit early for that, but more likely this next Dragon fight, the Viktor's going to utilize this gold a lot better. They just don't know if there will be long-term an answer here. This is just another great play from Career. And he is having a series to bring them back into it in so many ways. Like, without his really hyper-aggressive plays to put that pressure into the top lane, then VicLa's just stable, and ShowMaker is not relevant. But he's 2,000 gold ahead now alone. He's starting to rival that gold of the Yorick, which is why we're starting to wonder that scaling element we talked about earlier, how relevant is it going to be? It starts to feel like it might be a big factor in this game.
Let's see whether Clear can do it, because it's up to him. There is no one else on BNK FEARX that we're going to be looking for to win this game. It's just Clear. He is so far ahead. They invested so much in him in the earlier stage. You can see already he is taking down this inner turret, making pretty short work of it as well, as Siwoo desperately trying to clear out waves.
Scary thing is when VicLa's in the mid lane, or on around Dragon, if you send, say, 3 people to kill the Yorick, and he's alone, there will be 3 people there, because Raptor and VicLa will get there with Weaver's Wall and the Pantheon ultimate. So it's a very large problem to solve, and if you send 3 and they get away, then you lose a turret on the other side of the map. There's a lot of push and pull with this really strong side-laning champion, so the macro calls have to be decisive here for Dplus, and so far Career has made the right one. Speaking of...
Yeah, smash. All right, he's going to likely get walled off as it's Career that's in trouble. Does get flung back as Taeyeon's there with the damage. Got rid of the Pantheon, didn't get rid of the Misfortune, and down will go the Poppy. Good play there from VicLa to try and set it up.
You see a TP from Kellin back in the mid. The Dragon spawns in 20 seconds, and Siwoo is alone.
Yeah, good sidestep there from Siwoo. Able to get out of the way of the Morning Mist is now this Pantheon. Oh, he gets pulled back underneath the turret. Seismic Shove is there. ShowMaker just pops like a balloon. Clear throws his shovel down. The Arcane Storm was doing a decent amount of work, but Taeyeon and Kellin are now just owning this outer turret in mid lane.
I don't know about this. This is a pretty risky call.
All right, Siwoo teleporting in, seeing whether he can find some value, but he's just wandering in with a hammer. And it's not going to do too much of anything.
Jack shows by for Clear.
This guy is large.
He's going to be so difficult to kill. He's like, forget Hullbreaker. I'm going to be strong with my teammates and without my teammates. And... well, we have Dragon alive, and BNK FEARX are trying to group here. VicLa does not have TP, but he's coming over fairly quickly, and they are wrestling this prio away from Dplus.
Yeah, VicLa should be able to deal with this wave. Is now Kellin looking for a bit of an angle. Just ghosting around for now. It's Clear looking to get rid of Lucid. He gets slammed into the wall. There's the Impale as well. Trying to block Kellin is Career, who flashes out of the way. The bullet time comes in, and Lucid, that is not the target you were looking for. He gets a big old shield and flashes away, and he's able to drive his way out of there, but I don't think they're contesting for this Dragon anytime soon.
That's going to be pretty tough. See, the Skarner does survive, of course, and we'll be able to get back fairly quickly. And with these low health bars, especially Kellin's, BNK FEARX a little bit timid.
Yeah,
actually starting this up.
Not going to be able to make that one happen.
They don't have their ults, right? VicLa's getting his just now, but without bullet time, feels like the damage is a little bit lackluster into this level 16 Viktor. And the ShowMaker will get it off of this cannon here. This is a really, really tense moment because Dplus, with that Skarner back here, they actually have prio. I think they should be able to secure this Dragon. Don't engage onto the Yorick, and you'll probably have a better time.
Yeah. Clear had made his way back in with the teleport as well. That's a little bit upgraded with his quest completion as well. As now Siwoo looking to rotate over, does manage to help collect Raptor, and out goes most of the team. The curtains have been called here for BNK as Taeyeon does tank up that last one pretty effectively with his shield, but it looks like DK should be able to get themselves soul point off the back of that one.
That is a massive win for Dplus. They end up getting Raptor there, so there's no way they can contest for a smite, but they get so much control out of Career's ultimate that it is just a done deal. That's soul point. So go all the way back to this, which is the power of this side lane in Yorick. I'd prefer not to watch it again, but we do see Lucid comes over here, pulls Raptor back through, and then ShowMaker. Yeah, that was...
Where did he go?
Death Chamber.
Yeah, he looked like he got consumed by the Maiden.
This was a really interesting flank here from Siwoo. I think BNK just did not see it coming. They didn't expect it. They thought he was going to be playing a little bit slower, looking for poke, but he actually just looks for the burst there with the collapse from Lucid, and then at the same time, Career ends up hitting the huge knockback. So there's just no contest. Soul point goes to Dplus. And now we're looking at potentially a Baron as 3 items on this Viktor. Does a lot of damage to the Dragon, even if the Jayce is 3,000 gold behind, and the Jhin, who's a Jhin, will not. I mean, he does okay now. He's got IE.
Yeah. I mean, the Jhin has, like, Smash has a really, like, high damage build as well. Going for the Storm Razor into Rapid Fire Cannon. Now has finished the Infinity Edge as well. And Taeyeon can cut through some tanks, and obviously needs to, as Lucid does exist. He is going to get flung back. Not looking that tanky right now, as Smash is going to rotate over. That Impale doesn't quite work out, as now ShowMaker here a little bit too late.
And they just only used the bullet time there. Everything else was just basic, the lockdown there. It was ironic that you said Lucid exists, but he did not exist for very long there.
Yeah, he ceased to exist pretty quick.
So... BNK FEARX is going to start up this Dragon. Clear is coming over, and there's just no contest. There's no
Baron take.
There's no contest. But there doesn't need to be, because they're just not doing the Baron. Or are they? Now they've got Yorick here. He's the real damage.
Yeah, pinging is happening here. So the Baron is going to get started up. 10 seconds left on Lucid. Teleport in from Siwoo. They do not want to give this one away. And if they're in the pit, ShowMaker does so much work. The curtains are being called here as well, as Raptor is going to be their target. The Keeper's Verdict gets rid of Taeyeon. That's so much of the damage missing. And look at these health bars, they are evaporating. This Baron is down so exceptionally low, and that was a massive disaster for BNK FEARX. Taeyeon even flashing into the pit to die. A triple kill for ShowMaker as Dplus Kia, I think, just won the game.
Taeyeon almost looked like he was just protesting the call with that flash there. As that is the game. That's just it.
Yep.
BNK had so much control over Baron. They hesitate for just a moment. And that moment is enough for Dplus to get back into position, get the full ace. And I guess resilience is on Dplus's side at the end of this one. Can't call it a clean series by any means, but they are the victors in the end, and they got Viktor on their squad.
They certainly do. Kellin trying to be a bit of a hero here, but he's going to be pulverized himself. And the Nexus is exposed. ShowMaker will get a win on his Viktor, and Siwoo somehow gets bailed out from that early laning phase. Like you say, wasn't clean, but a win is a win, and we are still putting a W in that column. And unfortunately, BNK FEARX are now locked into the Rise group.